As the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Joint Forces, I am here today to inform you that a number of unidentified flying objects have appeared over many parts of our country. Though their exact origin remains to be fully determined, the FBI has informed me that it is very likely that these are visitors of extraterrestrial nature. I advise the American people to remain calm, not fall into panic, and wait for further announcements. We shall overcome this threat with confidence and vigilance. May God protect our souls.
All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai B'Shem HaRakah Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule great millstone well. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abba ball. Alright, so they're saying that they shot down 3 UFOs, alright, which is impossible. Alright, this is deception. Alright, we're in a war, and it's a psychological war. And what they're doing is they're putting propaganda before your face. All right, because the so-called UFOs that come from heaven, the chariots of heaven, are not able to be destroyed by earthly material. All right, this is 2 Ezra 13, verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man being Yahushai, wax strong with the thousands of heaven. So it is true, there's a lot of so-called UFOs coming over America. All right, those are the vehicles that are going to gather the Israelites that are of the elect. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery. We're going to be gathered before these heathen, and they're going to witness our salvation. Revelation 11, we'll start at 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, entered into them. So we were those dry bones in Ezekiel 37. And then the Holy Spirit came upon us. We got flesh and we got breath in us. And that's why we're standing upon our feet prophesying. It says, and they stood upon their feet. And you see us on the streets doing the videos. It says, great fear fell upon them which saw them, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. That cloud is a so-called UFO. And their enemies beheld them. So once again, them telling you that they're shooting down so-called UFOs. All right, first, the so-called UFOs are here for the Israelites, the elect, because we're in slavery, still subject to payment under our enemy. All right, starting with the so-called white man, the red devil the Bible speaks of. All right, but I believe this is a tactic to get the public to begin to scrutinize the prophets. All right, it says, in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, which is America. All right, the great earthquake is going to come from nuclear destruction. And the 10th part of the city fell is because America, in the FEMA map, which FEMA controls America, all right, they have the America is broken off into 10 sections. It says, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. So every man that remains in America, woman and child, from East Coast to West Coast, from the Canadian border to the Mexican border, are going to be destroyed. It says, and the remnant were affrighted, which are them that are saved, and gave glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai of heaven. The second woe is past, World War II is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Which the third woe is not Russia and Ukraine and America. All right, it's going to be in what they call Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the Valley of Decision, the Valley of Yahweh's Mashaphat, Yahweh's judgment. Yahweh Shai is going to go over there and burn them up. All right, once again, 2 Ezra 13, verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong, Yahweh Shai, with thousands of heaven. What are those of heaven, the armies of heaven. It says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him, which people are going to die from seeing these chariots. It's going to be a terrible thing. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. So literally they're going to become ash and smoke. All right. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number, which is the armies of the world. They're going to be gathered in that valley of Jehoshaphat from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. The sea is the heavens. The heavens are blue. All right. So he's coming out of the heavens in so-called U.F.Os, and he's going to fight the armies of the world, right? And he's bringing his armies with him. Revelation 19. We'll go to 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. That white horse is a so-called U.F.O. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, because he's going to take all authority away from the kings on earth. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, which they can't imagine U.S.A. coming this way. All right, they're thinking little gray men. They're thinking reptilian cannibals, right? But it's really what's on those so-called U.F.Os are so-called angelic black men. All right. He was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, because when he comes, he's going to kill everyone except for them that are ordained to be saved of the nation of Israel. And his name is called the Word of Yahweh, which he comes in the volume of the book. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. So there's an army of angels that are coming with him. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So you got the kings of the earth, right? Saying that they're shooting down his military, his army from heaven. All right, you're going to draw him in more. All right, there's going to be actual true sightings of so-called U.F.Os like never before. All right, U.S.A. is not going to shy away. All right, he has a power that's never been really seen by this generation. And he's going to display it, all right? Because the whole thing is Yahweh wants the world to fear him. And right now, under the so-called white man, the red devil the Bible speaks of, all right, a lot of people don't even believe that there's a God. And if anything, they believe themselves to be a God because they've been deceived to believe that they could change their future. They're the controller of their future and all this bullshit that Esau tells them. So Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai is about to put the fear in these men, women, and children on earth. All right, and a lot of it's just going to be by just seeing Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. It says they're going to die just from the sight. All right, it's a terrible thing to see Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, especially if you know he ain't coming to save you. He's coming to destroy you. And he was a man, but now he's a God, an invincible God with the almighty Yahweh's power. Man, these dumb devils, they're losing sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're coming up with these foolish propagandas. All right, they're waging psychological war, and it's gonna backfire in their face. All right, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue that man that came out of the sea. And I just heard a report from America where they're talking about drafting women first. Right? You dumb bitches, you want to be fucking first, right? You want to be in replace of a man. So now you're going to go to war first. You're going to be drafted first. Which that's the Lord doing that. He controls the hearts of men. All right? It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Which this mountain is actually a so-called U.F.O. It's so big, it would look like a mountain range where you can't see one end to the other. All right? It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, which is the armies of the world, were sore afraid, and yet does fight. So it's gonna, once again, when they see these chariots, clearly, and them that ride upon them, Yahushua and the angels, man, they're gonna drop. Some men are gonna drop dead because their heart is gonna give out. But these armies, the Lord's gonna give them the will to fight. Okay, because He wants to fight. Yahweh and Yahushua are the men of war, gods of war. All right. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war, because he's invincible. They cannot shoot down a so-called U.F.O. They cannot destroy an angel of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, nor an elect man that is ordained to be saved. All right? There's some elect men that are ordained to be sacrificed, but an ordained Israelite man, an elect man that's ordained to be saved, he cannot be touched. Satan knows this. That's why when he was tempting Yahweh to throw himself off the pinnacle of the temple, he says the angels will come down and pick you up. How would they do that? Through the so-called U.F.O. They will come down and gather you up so you don't even hit the ground, because everything is preordained. All right? It says, but only I saw that he sat out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. You want an example of that? War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. Another one is Independence Day, where they shoot the fire out of the mouth of the chariot and it just dissolves everything. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire and flaming breath and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, the armies of the world, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right? So they can't do nothing to a so-called U.F.O. It's full of shit, man. It's propaganda. It's war, psychological warfare. All right? But it's only going to bring them down. It's going to bring Yahweh and Yahushai and the angels down to gather his elect and to destroy the wicked and them that do wickedly. Matthew 24. Salakia, my allergies are acting up. Matthew 24, verse 29. I'll start at 28. It says, for wheresoever the carcass is, the carcass of the Israelites, there will the eagles be gathered together. And that's why when you look at where all the so-called UFOs are gathering, it's right here in America. It says, because this is Babylon, the great, that's going to be destroyed. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. So after they make that MOTB, the implantable micro CHIP, mandatory for buying and selling, all right, the device the size of a grain of rice that they want to implant inside your body, all right, they make it mandatory for buying and selling. They're going to nuke America. It's in their heart. The Lord put it there, all right? to bring forth this nuclear destruction of America. And the stars shall fall from heaven, that's the nuclear missiles. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Which you got these so-called Illuminati, and they're going to be in bunkers hiding. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man from the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, which that's Yahushua, the so-called U.F.O. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. Why would they all mourn? Because it's terrible to see. It says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. The clouds are the so-called UFOs. All right, and it ain't going to be just like, ooh, man, it's going to be terrifying. All right, it even says the angels, all right, the men of the Lord are even terrible to these people. How much more a perfected God, the second in power under Yahweh. And I'm speaking of Yahushua, which comes in the glory of his Father. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, those armies of heaven, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So this should be actually a sign for us to even tighten up more, knowing that we're about to witness, Yahweh sending Yahushua and the angels for us. And if you ain't going to be gathered, you're going to be destroyed. So that should be motivation for the Israelites to repent. All right, you that have faith in the words of the Bible, not religion, but in the words of the Bible, repent. All right, for the end is at hand. They're going to make the MOTB, the implantable microchip, the device the size of a grain of rice. They're going to make it mandatory that you have it implanted in your body for buying and selling. And then after that, that's the destruction of America, nuclear destruction of America. And anyone that's gathered in a draft or they're, volunteer to go to the war in the Middle East, and they're put in Valley of Jehoshaphat, you're going to die there too. All right? And it says, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Hey, there's a day that shall burn as an oven. All right? It says, so likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things which we're witnessing, know that it is near, even at the doors. All right?
Like, super scared about what's happening in the world right now. Things are being shot out of the sky, spy balloons, don't even get me started on the UFOs. There are murders of crows everywhere. Like, I've literally never seen so many crows in my life. Like, this is an actual thing. The freaking doomsday clock is literally almost at midnight. The Ohio train derailing and then toxic fumes everywhere. We are literally being surrounded by Russian ships in Hawaii on the East Coast. Something is like about to go down. I don't know what it is or when it's going to happen, but something is going down.
All right, even that foolish female could, with her spider sense, see something is wrong. All right, but you know what she comes to the conclusion? Instead of getting herself a husband, a man of the Lord, she says, I should buy me a gun at the end of that video. You know what I'm saying? That's how stupid these females are. And even men that are moving in a earthly mindset, because the world is ran by the wicked and women. All right? That's what their mindset is. Oh, I better go get a gun. That gun ain't going to fucking save you. All right? Really, only name that can save you is Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. All right? That's the only name that can save you. It says, verse 33, so likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. So Yahushua is about to come. But we got a couple prophecies that need to be fulfilled. All right, like them making that device mandatory, all right, for buying and selling that they want to implant inside your body. But that's going to come in one day and 1 hour. All right, then after that, you're going to have a great tribulation because of the lack of bread. All right? And then nuclear destruction. It says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Because as soon as this place is destroyed, America, because the whole earth is created to endure forever. So he's not talking about destroying the world. He's talking about destroying them that dwell on the earth. All right? Geo. See, it says in B, it says in the inhabited earth, the abode of men and animals. See V or 5. It's a country, land enclosed within fixed boundaries, a tract of land, territory, of region. All right, so he's talking about America. When America is destroyed, all right, when heaven and earth, heaven being the ruling class, the Illuminati, whoever you want to call them, and earth shall pass away, so them that live on earth and them that rule earth, the wicked, shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. All right? This is why we're, seeking the kingdom and his righteousness, which shall never diminish. All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Ha Rekah Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule great millstone wow. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abba babal.